What's up everyone, I'm back for another video. Alright everyone, so this video is going to be kind of different from the ones I've been doing in the past. I'm going to take it in a different direction and do a Keeper of the Lost Cities video. Yeah, it's been a very long time since I did one. I think the last one was in November when I bought the book, the 8th book in the series called Legacy, and I just finished reading it. Yeah. Took me 8 months to read it, which is why I'm a professional reader. No, but seriously guys, this book, I don't even know what to say. I've always loved the Keeper of the Lost City series. It's been one of my favorite series ever since I read the first book back in like 2014 or something like that, a couple years after it came out. And I've just always loved reading it. I've bought the new book every year. I've done an unboxing for each of the last 3 ones, and it's just been a great series in my heart. Oh, it's so sentimental. So yeah, I just finished reading this book and, oh, that's weird. The cover's not on it. Hang on, it looks regular to me, like, what the heck? Oh, okay. I don't know how that happened, but there it is. There's the cover for Legacy, and let me jump into my book review for this book. Alright, so I want to start out talking about the good, and as always with these books, the character of Keef, which I think is how you pronounce it. I mean, the other thing it could be is Keefy, but I don't think it's Keefy. So the character of Keef, he is hilarious as always. Like, I love his sarcastic, witty attitude. That's how I write my stories, which, by the way, are linked in the description. My novel is linked in the description below, so go check it out. Yeah, I always write my stories with this sarcastic attitude, and I just love writing like that, and I especially love reading like that. The other good thing, and yes, there's basically only one other really good thing, is that the story did make sense from beginning to end, and when it got to the good parts, I mean, the suspense was terrifying. Like, it was so suspenseful at points in time for me, and there were points in time where I had to cover up some words so I wouldn't read ahead and accidentally read the really important part. I just love moments like that, and this book was full of those moments. But unfortunately, there were many more bad moments, and it's kind of upsetting to me since I love this series so much, but this book just went kind of full force into some things that I don't really like. So number one, the conversations in this book are so long. I mean, the book is easily over 125,000 words. It could even be longer than that. I think it is longer. It could be over 150,000, but it's a long book. And part of the reason for that is that they have so many long conversations. And I don't really know if all of those conversations were needed. Like, some of them could have been cut out, parts of them could have been cut out. And sometimes you think something great's gonna happen, and they take like a super long conversation that takes up like 2 chapters, and you're left wondering, like, when is this thing gonna happen? Also, another driving force in this book was that Sophie, the main character, doesn't tell stuff to people. Like, she always gets information, but then she never lets other people know about it. And then the thing that always happens is those people get upset at her, right? They get upset that she didn't tell them, and then they forgive her. That's what happens every single time, and it's so predictive right now. It's so easy to predict that this is going to happen. She's going to figure out something, not tell people. The people are going to get mad that she didn't tell her when they find out, and then they're going to forgive her and they become friends again. That always happens, and it's so frustrating. Also, there were too many nicknames in this book. I found that like every chapter had multiple nicknames in it that were just weird. Like, one of them, everybody kept calling Sophie Lady Fossboss, and that just got on my nerves so much. It was one of the most cringe things in the book, hearing Fossboss over and over in my brain. Also, when Sophie found out that, cough, somebody was her mother, I won't tell you who, cough, she kept referring to this person as a nickname, like the person who she didn't want to talk to, or the mother who never cared about her. And they were like capitalized. Those whole phrases were capitalized, so it was literally a nickname, and it was just really, really weird. And that happened throughout the book with these nicknames. And another thing, I said earlier that I like the plot, and I do. But the plot doesn't really happen until the 3rd act of the book. Like, the first 2 are literally filled with Sophie making realizations and then withholding that from people, and then people getting mad and then forgiving her, like I said earlier. But that's what the first 2 acts are basically about. And then only in the 3rd act do we get to actually, like, the mind-gripping stuff. I don't know if I said that right. The attention-grabbing stuff that really makes you want to keep reading. Like, I got to the point where I could barely struggle through a chapter a day when I was reading the first 2/3 of the book. And then in the 3rd part of the book, I read it in like 3 or 4 days. it was like 250 pages. I read it in like 3 or 4 days because it was super exciting. And that was the problem. The tone was so different from beginning to end, and it just really got on my nerves. Also, another thing, Sophie has some bodyguards, and you know, one of them left from last book because she got in some trouble. Her troll bodyguard got in some trouble and had to leave. But she still has 4, right? She has Flori, Nubiti, Sander, and Bo. Okay, so Nubiti is a dwarf. Nubiti basically follows Sophie around in the ground, but I've been wondering something. The dwarf can't possibly travel that fast, right? So what if Sophie light leaps or teleports somewhere? How does Nubiti follow her to that new place? Obviously, Sander and Flori can travel with her, and Bo as well. But how does Nubiti follow them in the ground? That has been a plot hole this entire time, and if you guys know the answer, please let me know in the comments, because it doesn't make any sense. And another thing, Sophie is constantly wanting to hug people, and every time this happens, I'm just like, that doesn't happen in real life. Nobody wants to hug people this often. Every time somebody's feelings would be a little bit less happy than usual, Sophie would be like, I really wanted to hug them, but I couldn't because that would be weird. And then sometimes she did hug them. So all the times she wanted to hug people and all the times she did actually hug people were many, many times. And it just got kind of annoying after a while. And the last thing that kind of got on my nerves was that Sophie, before she learned that she could control her enhancing ability, felt the need to wear a ton of gloves. Even when she had these gadgets that Tinker made for her in the last book, or that Dex made for her in this book, she still felt the need to wear gloves, which is just beyond me. Like, she knew the gadgets worked, so why would she still wear gloves? I know she wanted to have a second layer of protection, but why would she need that if she could just rely on the Technopath invention that were the fingernail gadgets? It just didn't really make sense to me, and I know I've been saying that a lot in this video, but it didn't. So yeah, those were the main 2 good things, and those were the main like 8 bad things that I noticed about this book. Overall, I'd say it was enjoyable in the 3rd part, but not exactly in the first 2 parts, and that was kind of depressing for me. I'm really hoping that the next book, book 8.5, which is called Unlocked, is a lot better. I hope it's going to be, because Keith is going to be getting a new ability, and we're going to see what happens with that. So I'm really looking forward to that coming out on, I think, November 17th. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to release an unboxing video for that, and I can't wait for that video. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.